The views and opinions expressed in this content are that of a continuously evolving nature and are subject to change as humanity evolves into higher states of awareness.
Hi everyone, just Lee again here from Next Level Awareness, and in this video I want to talk about non-dualistic thinking and how when you eventually go up the levels of awareness and you realise non-dualistic thinking, you can then transcend the levels of awareness at a much faster rate. And the way I'm going to interpret this is this little diagram I've done here. So if you can imagine, this is the structure of our physical experience, okay? And all these dots are kind of experiences in this reality, okay? So all these dots are events that happen to us in our physical experience. And as you can see, the way I've done this, it's actually quite realistic because all these events are actually happening simultaneously, okay? But our perception or our consciousness, whatever you want to call it, is switching through these constantly based on our perceptions of all these events happening around us at any one time. So most people on the planet today are probably thinking in a dualistic way, okay? And the reason for this is because they are programmed by society, by schooling, etc., to be told that one thing's good and another thing's bad. So they grow up with this dualistic way of thinking where if something happens to them, they'll think it's bad or they'll think it's good. And then when they're like this, they do still evolve, okay? We all still evolve, but they evolve in a much slower rate. And eventually, with going up the levels of awareness, with experiences, especially bad experiences, they'll realise how to think non-dualistically, and when they realise that everything in life starts to fall into place, they start to appreciate life better, they don't take the goods and the bads as seriously because they see it all as one, and it's more of a holistic way of thinking. So I'm going to give some examples here. So let's say you think dualistically, okay? And let's say an event happens here. If an event happens here, if you're thinking dualistically, you're going to think of this event as either positive or negative. Now, if you think of it as positive, you'll go up the vibrational frequency to this new level of awareness, okay? But if you think of it negative, you stay on the same vibrational level of awareness, and the same event will come back round again. And when it comes back round again, one of the things happening here is I think it's coming back round with the same decision you have to make, whether it's good or bad, but with a whole different set of circumstances. But those circumstances will be on the same vibrational frequency because you've chose the negative, you see. And when you choose negative in life, when you look at things negative, you don't go up the vibrational frequencies as fast because you have to realise why these negative things are happening, you see. So let's say the negative comes back around again on the same level of awareness and they choose negative again. Then they'll stay on that vibrational frequency and the same event will keep coming round and round again until they realise why this event's happening and they see it in a positive light. And this is why negative things happen to us, because it happens to us to teach us lessons about life so we can excel and go up to the next levels of awareness, you see. And we all know that those people out there who stay on the same level of awareness for years and years and years, and they never come out of it, okay? There's people who do this with music. They'll like the same type of music for 20 years without even evolving it, you see, or they'll like the same the same type of car for 30, 40, 50 years without even evolving or trying something different. This is because this is also known as narrow-mindedness, you see, and because they're narrow-minded, they're not pushing themselves out the comfort zones to get on these higher levels of awareness. And this happens with music, it happens with food, happens with everything because everything's connected, you see. Whatever level of awareness you're on, everything around you will adapt to that level of awareness. So we all know people who've been on them levels of awareness for a long time, and because they're doing that, they're not increasing the levels of awareness because they're not trying something new, you see. They're not evolving, okay? Because even things like food and music, we evolve because every single level of awareness you get onto, you get into a different type of music, okay? Because music has levels of awareness as well. Types of cars have levels of awareness as well. Everything in this reality is kind of on level with a certain vibrational frequency which are the levels of awareness which we all transcend slowly. So someone on a dualistic way of thinking might stay on this one, and then eventually they might think of what's happened to them in a positive light. So then they'll go into this next level of awareness, you see, and then a new circumstance or a new event will happen, and then they can either think of it as positive or negative again. So let's say they think of that as negative. Then the same one will come back around again with different circumstances, and then let's say they think of that as positive. Then a similar event will happen, but from a new vibration level of awareness, and let's say they think of that as negative, okay? Then they go to this one, it happens again, then they think of it as negative again, then it happens again, then they think of it as positive, they go on the next level of awareness, then they think that as positive, let's say, and then they think another one happens and they think of it as negative. So as you can see here, because they're in a dualistic way of thinking, it's took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 different events for them to reach this level of awareness. So they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 levels of awareness in 11 events, okay? So that's the average person on the planet at the moment. That's the way they're thinking. They're still evolving, but it's taken a lot more time and effort to evolve. So eventually, when we reach non-dualistic thinking, this all changes, you see, because we get to a state where we don't necessarily think things as good or bad. We just see them as all happening for a reason, and we accept them more, because everything that happens, whether it be good or bad, happens for a specific reason to teach us something so we can progress up the levels of awareness, you see. So when you realize this state of awareness, this is also known as non-duality in the spiritual communities, by the way. And there's a lot of talk about non-duality and what it could be, and there's a lot of paradoxes about it, but in my eyes this is what it is, okay? It's just a way of transcending up the levels of awareness at a quicker, more efficient rate. And I'm going to show you why. Because somebody who thinks non-dualistically, they don't necessarily take things as good or bad, so they see the middle ground of everything, you see. So they'll realize if a bad thing's happening, it's happening for a specific reason, and if a good thing's happening, it's just a bonus. So when they do this, they can stay in the middle ground. So instead of either going positive or negative, then they're guaranteed to go up to the next level of awareness, you see. And if they do the same again here, they're guaranteed to go to this one, because they're staying in the middle ground, you see. And then they'll go straight to this one, straight to this one. So as you can see, when you're on a non-dualistic way of thinking, the only way is up. And you'll transcend up these levels of awareness faster than you've ever done before, because you're now realizing things from a holistic point of view, why everything's happening. Everything bad that happens serves double duty. It's good or bad, and you can choose. But whatever happens, it's happening for a reason, to teach you a lesson so you can transcend these vibrational frequencies. So as you can see here, a non-dualistic thinker has transcended right up here just with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 events. Whereas a dualistic thinker has transcended just to here, 2 levels below, with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 events, you see. So it's a less efficient way of dealing with reality. But that's not all, because one thing I will say about thinking in a non-dualistic way is that your life becomes better, because you start to see things and you start to appreciate things that you didn't appreciate before, you see, because you start to take into account all possibilities in life. And some things that you didn't like when you were younger, you'll end up liking when you're in a non-dualistic state. I've got a couple of things here to kind of give an example of this. So let's say when you're a child, you get some sweets at Christmas, okay? You'll see this in families. You'll see like some children will like a specific sweet out of a box of sweets, okay? So they might like the pink sweet, say for instance. And then granddad likes the purple sweet, okay? And that's just the way it is. The child always goes for the same sweet because that's the one they like. They love this sweet, they hate this sweet. That's a granddad sweet, and granddad likes this sweet but hates this sweet. Now the granddad here is stuck in a dualistic way of thinking, you see, because he hasn't transcended non-dualism. He hasn't give other sweets a try. He hasn't opened his mind enough to appreciate both sweets. And the child hasn't either, because the child's not in a level of awareness yet where they can understand non-dualistic thinking. Plus they've been programmed by school, by the way, because schools and the media program people into dualistic thinking. And this is why people are not very open-minded, you see. So the child loves this and hates this, the granddad hates this and loves this. But with time, with non-dualistic thinking, eventually those things you loved when you're a child and you hated, then when you get older you'll start loving as well, because you'll try them and you'll see them in a whole new light. And this is one of the benefits of non-dualistic thinking. Things that you didn't used to like, you'll start liking. Say you didn't used to like gardening, you thought gardens were horrible and you preferred concrete, which is something that happened to me, by the way. I used to hate gardens, I couldn't be bothered, I didn't want to stand on grass, I thought it was messy. And I used to prefer concrete, more cleaner looking things. Whereas now that I'm non-dualistic, I've learned how to appreciate both, and I actually love gardening and I love concrete as well. So you get benefits of non-dualistic thinking where your life just becomes better. There's less problems, you see. There's less contrast between good and bad. And not only that, you're transcending these levels of awareness. So yeah, that's my take on this, guys. I hope you got something from this. This is not yet taught anywhere. This is just the very first time I've tried to explain it in this way. But hopefully this will be taught to the masses in future generations, and this will be the new spiritual way of teaching things, hopefully. But if I've missed anything here, guys, because I know you guys are quite awakened and a lot of you people watching this will already be thinking in a non-dualistic way. So if I've missed anything here, please let us know. Or if you've got any other alternative ways of describing this, let us know as well in the comments. So yeah, that's it, guys. Please like, subscribe. I'll tell you what the universe tells me. See you on the next video very shortly. Have a nice day.